Hi everyone, and I've been doing my focus on leadership development, and up to now I've been focusing on my John Maxwell. But as many of you know, I also help in my church and I do leadership work in the church. So today was my turn to lead our rosary in the parish, and part of the immigrant journey is getting to know your parish, your community, helping to build up your community where you are. You can't keep looking back and saying, oh, I wish I could go back to Africa, I wish I could go back to Europe, oh, I wish I could go, because sometimes things don't open up. Wherever I was and whichever community I lived in, I helped my church. When I was in England, I helped the Jesuits in Brixton. Brixton is one of the poorest areas in London. So I used to help them there. And I also helped in my parish in Zimbabwe at St. Edward's in Kwekwe. I helped at Trinity House in South Africa. And I trained in South Africa. I became a Eucharistic minister. I used to do reading in my church in Zimbabwe. And I used to read the Gospels, read the literature. I used to organize Bible studies in South Africa, in Zimbabwe. And today was my turn to lead the rosary in my parish. So we each have a turn. We have a lady there that's in charge of it. She's from South Africa and she organizes it every year. So last year, because of my work schedule, I could not read because I had a hectic schedule and the times they needed people, I was not available. But this year I did. And it's nerve-wracking when you're getting up in front of people. You have to speak clearly, you have to project your voice. You do have a microphone, but you still have to speak slowly, speak clearly, make sure people hear you, give people time to respond when you say the Hail Mary or the Our Father. And today I did the Luminous Mysteries. So the Rosary in May, we use the month of May to reflect on Jesus's life in a special way, saying the Hail Marys and the Rosary, the decades, and to remember Jesus's Mother Mary and to ask for her intercession. And I did okay. I spoke clearly, I spoke well. But for many of us going back into our workplaces, into our communities, after COVID, it's nerve-wracking because we've been away for a long time. We haven't had those opportunities to read. Some of us are nervous, some of us get anxious, some of us are sensitive to criticism because sometimes people will come and say to you, you need to speak a bit louder, we didn't hear you at the back. Other times people will come and say, you did really well, you've got a really good voice and your prayers were heartfelt, or your scripture reading was good, or you read really well. We enjoyed how you read the readings today. So leadership is not only about John Maxwell, it's also about how we take our faith values, how we use them to build up our communities. And many people are struggling today. Our Catholic Church is helping people in the north. We help people do knitting, or they bring gently used clothes and we collect them for the St. Vincent de Paul and we send those out. So when I retire, I'll have lots of things to do. I can knit, I can crochet, I can do painting, I can do calligraphy. I do know a little bit of it. I used to do it at home, embroidery. I'll have lots of things. I'll have gardening. But right now my focus is my work. So if I can't go to church, I let them know. My schedule's not matching, I can't come, find somebody else to read, or find somebody else to do the prayer group, or find somebody else, I'm not going to come to do the rosary. And that's the way it should be. We all get a turn, we all help our parish, we all build up our community. So it's a good place to be, and it's a good place to focus on what we're grateful for. I do that. I have food, I have clothes, I have a nice place to live. There are many people in Canada who are struggling. People who, just like me, who are working, who are going to food banks because they can't make ends meet, and who are getting gift cards, help from the church. My community too is helping me. They're letting people know that I'm looking for a nice position, I'm a spiritual director, that I'm looking for something a little more in line with my skills and that pays better in HR or in administration, hopefully in a church setting. Because I do tell them I also have my mom to consider, I'm also a caregiver, and I appreciate that people are telling other people, including Father Larry. So I did my John Maxwell on my own. I paid for that on my own. And part of doing John Maxwell is adapting it and choosing your audience and choosing who you want to focus on. And for me, it's immigrants. I was watching the news today and people were complaining that, they had to learn a foreign language, they had to learn Afrikaans in South Africa during the apartheid years, and they forgot their own languages. Well, nobody stopped us from speaking our own languages in our homes. My grandparents used to speak our language, Konkani, but when my grandfather died, no one taught us. So there's no one to blame. They can't keep blaming the apartheid government for things that happened, just like they can't keep blaming the Rhodesian government for what's happening in Zimbabwe now, where people don't have food, they don't have electricity, they don't have water, it's corrupt, they're supporting the Russians. For how long can you keep blaming what generations ago did for what's happening today? Yes, there is some systemic injustice, but we also have to take steps to build ourselves up, to educate ourselves. I'm not saying it's a fair game. It isn't. But we have to take steps. My colored friend introduced me to John Maxwell, and it's helped me. She didn't say, you know what, it's an easy thing, it's easy, you'll do it, you'll get the hang of it in no time. It wasn't easy. Nothing was easy for me, but I did it. And I'm still focusing on helping other immigrants, building them up, helping them, encouraging them, mentoring them. And I'm also doing it in my church. We have refugee families that come. I introduce myself to them. I tell them about Canada. We welcome people to our parish who come here because we know it's hard. Without that support, it's very, very hard. And so that's how I took my skills into my community, into my church, and I was fortunate that I was welcomed. And I will keep doing that, looking for opportunities, looking for ways that I can contribute. And also, I'm grateful that Father Larry's telling people and other people are telling people in my community that I'm a spiritual director, that I have good administrative skills, because the Muslim community look after their own, the Hindu community look after their own. So our Catholic Church is also starting to say, hey, our Catholics, our Christians are being persecuted. They're not getting the opportunities, they're not getting the help, they're not getting the support. It's time we also started supporting them and helping them, and I think that's good. There are a lot of places in the world where Christians get persecuted, where we come in as immigrants, we can't get jobs, people look down on us because of generational things that happened, which my family didn't do. But still, people hate us because we're Catholic or because we went to a certain church or because we're Christian. And that's there, they can do it. I really don't care, because for me, life is short. I know I've been brought up with good values and it's my responsibility to live out those values. And if Protestants don't like me or other Christian sects don't like me, that's fine with me. I've made my choice, and that's my church. Warts and all, that's my church. I know my scriptures, I know my traditions, I keep up with them, I listen to the priests. There are a lot of things that have changed in the church, but there are a lot of things that are the same. And that's important to me. So leadership is not just about being in management. Leadership is about growing others, helping others, investing in others. And I get a lot of criticism. Our family can also do it. Our family are also good speakers, so please go and do it. Don't focus on me. Focus on your own life. And if it helps you, good. If it doesn't help you, please leave me alone and focus on your own journey. So that's what I did today. I went to the church, I helped with the rosary, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, for Margaret, who gave me the place to say it, and for Father Larry, who gave me the opportunity. Everyone should focus on their own journey and their own life and their own family, and not interfere with others. If you're not helping, don't hurt.